Chapter 10. Morning after. Kevin's eyes flickered open as sunlight made its way through little gaps in their window blinds. How did I get here? He thought. The last thing he remembered was the night filling with little pink blossoms. Was I dreaming again? Kevin slowly climbed out of bed so as not to wake Mary. Softly walking from their bedroom into the living room, he looked out through the sliding glass doors. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. He walked over to the front door and peered out through its small window. Again, nothing. Was it shock from witnessing the accident? After making a pot of coffee and pouring a cup, Kevin sat down on their couch thinking about the little blossoms. As he did, the image of the valley with little pink blooms blowing in the wind came to him. Wait, wasn't that a daydream? I must get checked for a brain tumor again, he said lightly. Curious as to what trees had such little pink blossoms, Kevin picked up his laptop and began his search. Believing he already knew the answer, he typed in dogwood tree and received many images of white blossoming trees. However, upon review, he noticed they were similar, but they were not the tree. Clicking on the search bar, Kevin typed in pink blossoming trees, which displayed a large range of trees and bushes in full bloom. Weeping, tropical, spruce, Japanese. Seeing Japanese as a suggestion made Kevin feel like it would be the best place to start. Clicking on that category brought up many beautiful images of blooming cherry blossom trees. That's it. A Japanese cherry blossom tree. Those are what I saw, Kevin said to himself. Then he thought, wait. With a few clicks, he sent one of the pictures to his phone and ran out to his workshop. Walking into his finishing room, Kevin headed straight to the sword rack with the crimson katana resting upon it. Laying his phone on the counter with the screen displaying the image of a single cherry blossom, Kevin gripped the handle of the katana, turning it to view the engraving. With detail in the engraving that Kevin didn't remember seeing while restoring the sword, he noticed the images matched perfectly. What does it mean? He asked himself, while returning the katana to the sword rack. He picked up his phone and searched cherry blossom katana. Instantly, the screen filled with images of swords having cherry blossom in the title. Then he found what he was searching for. What does the cherry blossom mean to samurai? Answer: cherry blossoms symbolize both birth and death, beauty and violence. They are a central motif in the Japanese worship of nature, but they have also historically signified the short but colorful life of the samurai. The owner of this katana must have been a great samurai, Kevin said. He began searching for anything involving Japanese swords with engravings of cherry blossoms. After a few hours of finding a multitude of swords with the engraving, none were raised or had the detail of his. Then he saw a drawing of a sword with a raised cherry blossom with the caption, Sword of 10,000 Souls. After clicking on the link, he began reading about the life of a samurai whose family was a well-known and respected line of the samurai class. He read how, on the day of his birth, the maker of the soon-to-be-born samurai's sword was murdered. The samurai baby was also suspected to have died before birth, but mysteriously survived. Kevin began to panic and breathe heavily, remembered a similar event happening in his dreams. How can this be? Kevin continued to read how the daimyo he served ordered him to punish all crimes with death. Being a samurai, he obeyed, killing hundreds. As he continued to read, he discovered the samurai turned on his daimyo, murdering his daughter. People called this samurai Shinigami, the deliverer of death. It was told he had killed an estimated 10,000 people before vanishing. Could this be his sword? Kevin asked, reaching out for the sword. Looking more closely at the engraving on the sword, he determined it was the only explanation. Then it occurred to him to find out what the seller of the sword knew, or at least how he came by it. Pulling up his account on the auction site, Kevin scrolled down to the seller of the sword and was happy to see they had displayed their full name. After a few minutes of searching online, he had a phone number. Excitement almost overwhelmed him as he listened to the phone ring. Daiki Fine Antiques, Daiki speaking. How may I assist you? Hi, I bought a sword from you online a little over a month ago and… It said on the ad, no returns. All sales final. I wrote in description that piece was very rusted. Almost rusted through in areas. I wrote and did not lie, Daiki said, cutting Kevin off. Rusted through? What? Kevin thought. You must be thinking of the wrong one. Mine was item number J7754575782. Yes, that is correct. No returns. I provided all information in listing, Daiki replied. Still confused by the seller's remarks, Kevin moved on to his questions. I do not want to return the sword. I am just curious as to where it came from. How did you get it? After almost a minute of silence, Kevin asked, Daiki, sir, you there? Yes, my daughter found it. Where? This sword is beautiful, and I am just trying to find more information about it. After many silent minutes, Daiki said, Beautiful? Not possible. Let me send you a picture, Kevin said, excited about showing off its beauty. He texted a picture to Daiki. Did you get it? Kevin asked after a minute had passed. With terror in his voice, Daiki replied, Not possible. It is not possible. I am a blad-smith and have done many restorations on knives and swords. This one wasn't that bad. She good girl? She found it in Aokigahara Forest, Daiki said, followed by complete silence. Hello? Hello? Kevin looked at his screen to see that their call had been disconnected. Unable to get how convinced Daiki was that the sword restoration was impossible, Kevin scrolled to the photos of it in the listing. There, he zoomed in on the photos, revealing what couldn't possibly have been his sword. The one in the photos was, as the seller had stated, in areas rusted all the way through. How could this be? He must have posted the wrong photos. Now, what is Aokigahara Forest? Typing it in his search bar, Kevin began to read its description. Sea of trees, 2 hours west of Tokyo, also known as the Forest of Death. The area of the Aokigahara Forest got its name from being the most popular spot to commit suicide in Japan. Well, shit, that's about right, Kevin said loudly.